Anyway, all right. So this is Jacob. So see how you have less spine angle here?
Yeah.
So what this does, so you have arms that are going to drop down from your shoulders, right? Gravity. Gravity lets your arms hang loosely, right?
Right.
So when you're standing up, if you're just dropping your arms, they're going to be really close to your body. See the difference?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where you were saying you get jammed up. Because your spine
Yeah.
angle, you stand too tall. See, if you sent me a video and a picture, I could show you on your actual body, but I know your swing. And this is very common, especially with athletic people and with people with a larger upper body. It's easier to support with your back. The more you bend over, the more stress is right here on your lower back and your core. But this is going to create more efficient movement because your coil, it all comes from this location right here, your hips and your lower back. That's why my hips are still sore right now. You kind of understand that?
Yeah.
So now what this creates, your swing. So if you took your left arm back into a strong position, right? It's going to cross your shoulders. That's going to be the strongest position of swinging something, right? Baseball, golf, anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the natural position, is your left arm across your shoulder plane right here. Across, a little bit above your nipples, right across your upper chest. If you go too low, this is kind of weak, right? You're not going to be able to swing really hard from down low. Same with up here by your nose. This isn't efficient. Right here is the strongest position. If you were playing tug of war, if someone was right here, you're going to pull right here, right across your shoulder plane, a little bit above the upper part of your pectorals. Correct?
Yes.
So if you did that with this posturing, that line is going to be right here. You see that?
Yes.
The ball is right here. So where that spine angle is, how are you going to get back to here? You got to drop it inside. So you're going to take that club back right here because that's comfortable, right? And now if you swung comfortable and efficient, you'd be swinging 3 feet above the ball. Instead, you're going to get here and drop those hands down to redirect the club. So now this club head, which is right here, is going to shift positions over to here so that you can get an angle that's down to the ball. You see how that is?
Yes.
This is bad. This right here, this change of direction is not good. That's going to cause a lot of inconsistency right there. If you have this spine angle bent over more, your plane is right here. See, I'm right across the shoulders, just like I was on this plane right here. Perpendicular lines. See this? 90-degree angle, 90-degree angle. But see now this one is pointing right down at the ball. Can you see the difference?
Yes.
So the ball is equidistant from the toes, but that spine angle now is allowing you to swing across your shoulder line on an efficient path, and you have all this room right here. See that? See now this room is going to get shrunk even more because you can't return here because that dropping it inside. So to get that plane here, you're going to have to bring those hands all the way behind your hips, right? If you were 3D right here, right? You weren't a little stick man. Your hands are going to be dropping all the way in here to get that club head coming inside to make contact with the ball. That's where you're going to feel real jammed up. Where here, your hands have so much room, your hips are way the fuck out of the way. So now that's going to allow you to stay on plane because there's no redirect. When you come up, then shift over and drop to the inside, now you're creating a path. Okay, so that's where your path comes from. So when you're, let's see here. Let's see where I can draw this that would be easy to see. So you got your ball, and you got the target line. Right? Ball, target line. So when you drop that club over here, you're creating an arc, right? A swing arc is a circle. That's why they call it an arc. So if you looked at this guy face on, so first let's look at path. So you're creating this path from the inside, and that has to go inside out, right? With this path, you're not dropping it inside. So your arc is going to stay right on the ball. So it's going to start more down the line, come into impact, and then go back inside the line. So it's going to approach the line, but it's never going to cross it. When you drop it inside, you're crossing that line going inside out. So that ball is going to start to the right.
So how do you find the right spine angle?
Play with it. You just got to try it. Bend over more, and it's really good to do I do most of my pre-game exercises are for my spine angle. So what I do is I'll grab a club, hold it across my chest, and bend at the hips, and do a lot of rotation in the hips. You'll notice you feel a lot of different muscles engaging. So even if you bend really exaggerated at a 90 degree, work on rotating there. And then point the club down at the ball, and then point the butt down at the ball. And see the rotation.
Yeah, right? See, my back doesn't stretch like that.
Exactly.
I'm trying it right now.
That's where you're golf weak. And you're in a natural position. You've developed muscles for baseball. Baseball is the natural motion of the body. You're standing up. This is a lazy posture right here. You can just squat in baseball and not have to have any kind of spine angle at all because you want to stay level and get it out of the park. If you squat and bend over, you're going to be creating a bat angle that's underneath the ball. You're just going to cut underneath it. So it's not natural. And you don't play golf growing up. So you develop this position here. And if you're golfing right now, you're in this position right here. Right? This is bad posture. You want your posture to be butt out like this, like a supermodel pose almost, arched at the back to where it's almost seating in, and that's gonna get your belt buckle pointing down at the ground. If you can imagine that. So if I was wearing a belt, right, it would be right here. So if I'm standing up like this, right, in Jacob posture, my belt's going to be pointing forward, right, because I don't have that flexibility. I'm just standing pretty upright. But what you want to get is kind of sticking that butt past your heels a little bit to get that balance over the ankles and kind of get that belt buckle pointing down at the ground. And now your rotation is going to be here, around that spine angle. So if you can see, my spine angle is now right here, lined in with that club. Can you see that? It's not upright anymore. It's direct. It's pointing right there. So now my shoulders and my rotation and my club rotation are going to be down at the ground, down at the ball right there. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So what that causes, so you understand this picture up here, right?
Yeah.
Inside out path. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of that.
Now, right, when I get the angle, so I got the correct spine, right? And I go back
Yep.
take my backswing.
Mm-hmm.
My weight transfers to my back foot first, and I rotate hips.
We're not even talking about that yet. Don't worry about that. We're worrying about the club. Because ultimately, wherever the ball goes, it all depends on the club face directly. Right? The club head and the club face. So you need a proper path, and you need a proper face angle. Okay, so we're starting at the basics. This is the basics. If you weren't even attached to that club, where's the ball going to go? Wherever the club is going, right? Think of it as it being on a robot. We'll worry about your body and how it affects it and your grip and shoulder rotation and all that later. But this posturing is going to affect the club. That's the most important thing as a result of where the ball goes.
Okay.
The club head and the club path and the club angle of attack is going to create the compression, and it's going to create your speed, and that has to do with the arc, which is our next lesson. Okay, so you understand how this is affecting the swing plane?
Yes.
Okay, so this has nothing to do with you. You are affecting it, but we're talking about the club here. Your effect on the club. So, to get that club on a better plane right here, you need to get a better posture. And we'll worry about the posture later. We'll work out the fundamentals later. But
now, does that mean
you're understanding what is causing what right now? So we're doing theory only.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this is theory. Golf theory.
I was just going to ask, does that mean I step back a little more or move forward towards the ball?
We'll go into that later. So that's also fundamentals in the setup, which will come after the grip.
Okay.
So grip first, setup second.
Okay.
But we're still in the theory of club and ball.
I can't stop looking at that icebreaker holding your GPU up.
Works great. There's still bits in there, dude. I had one the other day. All right. So now we're gonna create two more guys here.
And now does that only apply to the driver, or is that every club?
This is everything.
Okay.
All right. How do we want to do this here? All right. So we got Exhibit A. Boom, boom. Club down at the ground. We're looking at you in a 3D position now. Face on. Right? Posture,
right.
Club down at the ground, grip, arms. Okay. So now we're talking about swing arc. So this is still bad Jacob, this side, right? So there's going to be a backswing arc and a downswing arc. There's two arcs in the swing. So with Jacob, he takes his backswing, low to the ground, takes it up to the top. Okay? Arc 1. So the arc is the path that the club head travels. Okay? Just the club head. We're not worried about shaft planes. This is separate now. This is the path of the club head. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, so both of these guys took a nice round backswing, low to the top. Can you see that? They took the same backswing. Now, a proper backswing, when this guy goes back and his arms are here, so we got the club here now, right? And we got this guy reaching back. Let's see how I want to draw this. Boom. And he's got both of his hands on the club here. Right? You got an angle here. It's sharp. Right? It's not straight anymore like it was down here. Now this is called a hinge. Right? And you're going to have it up here too. But the problem is this guy is going to lean forward, and now the good swing arc, which we're going to do in green right here, is going to come inside this swing and then finish low after the ball. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So the downswing arc is going to be inside the backswing arc. So the backswing arc is low and long and away. Then once you get that hinge, your transfer of the weight should be on the left foot by this point, and you start your downswing, which is it's a steeper angle of attack right here, which is going to hit the ball and still be descending. Can you see how the low point is here now? Can you see that?
Yeah, so it's almost like it meets the ball, but it's not the end.
It hits the ball and then is still descending into the grass, which is why all those pros create the divot right there. Right? And your bottom of your swing is going to be here now. Bad Jacob, which we're going to do in blue, I guess. I don't know if I have any other markers. Any other markers? All right, we're doing Bad Jacob in blue. Your swing arc, because you're forced to drop it inside, you're coming from here and dropping it down here and then coming up like that. Okay? So the bottom of your swing is either at the ball or possibly a little bit below or anywhere right here. You see how low that swing arc is all right here? And then it's ascending very quickly after impact. Can you see how that is?
Yeah.
So this is going to bring in a lot of chunks, or you're going to blade the fuck out of it and it's going to go way to your right and it's going to be a real thin shot. Your best shot with this is going to be perfect scoop. So you're just going to catch the ball. So if you had a face right here, right? And you had a ball, your perfect contact is going to be just scooping the ball off the ground. Just picking it clean. And that ball is just going to bounce off the face. This guy is going to have less loft because he's going to have a more forward shaft lean because he's going to be ahead of the ball. Your shaft lean is going to be almost straight up, if not angled backwards a little bit, because you don't have your weight transfer and you're not leaning forward, all that stuff. And this guy is going to be on a descending path.
So what you're saying is, Bad Jacob, right? Your club face is hitting the ball before your shaft like reaches that point. But good one, the shaft is
ahead
there, but the club face is behind the ball.
I'll draw another picture because this is kind of chaotic. But this is swing arcs. Good swing arc, backswing is long and low, and then the downswing cuts it off and is descending on the ball, and then far past impact is still descending.
I get that,
Okay,
but what I'm saying is, from a result of the swing path, a correct one,
yeah,
you should be, your hands and the shaft should be in front of your club face.
Yes, that is a fundamental, and I'll show you right now.
I was just making sure.
That's okay.
Because when I hit it, let's see, so I'll go through my swing right now, and I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing. I got my driver in my hand, okay? I come back, I get to maybe hip level, my right knee straightens out, my left knee bends, I continue to rotate my hips and my back, and my club face is pretty much straight up in the air.
Right.
And then I shift my weight like a baseball
you're
Like I'm
twisting.
swinging a baseball.
Exactly. You're twisting. You're trying to help the ball in the air. But look at these pictures here. Can you see these pictures I just drew?
Yeah.
This is you. See how weight distribution is very equal on both legs? You're standing almost straight up and down, spine angle wise,
Yeah.
right? This is where it should be at impact. You see forward shaft lean? His weight is over the left side. See how he's kind of leaning into the left foot a little bit? So,
My shoulders are tilt.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, that's kind of just bad pictures. I mean,
Okay.
if I could draw a 3D stick man, he'd be leaning over a little bit, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But this is just weight transfer wise. His upper body is over his left leg. That's what you want to get from this picture. This one, your upper body is right in the middle of both legs. And you're spinning. Right? Bad. Good. You want to lean. You want to lean into that left leg and pull that club head through. The club head should not pass your hands. Okay? So even after impact, so if we erase these guys, right? And we drew the good guy again. So we got forward shaft lean, ball. We got his hands here. We got the triangle. And then we got him leaning on his left side right there, right? He's leaning into his left side. After impact, those hands will now be here. I can't draw it on the same guy. So, relative to the triangle, right? Your arms and your shoulders, right? The club will always be behind. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, the rotation of that club face does not rely on your hands, on a release of the club, flipping the hands over, anything like that. It's determined by where your big muscles are. Much more consistent to guide the club with your big muscles. Because it won't move very much. It's going to go wherever your body is. So if that face is open, you're going to feel it. Because it's very exaggerated. If you were just using your hands, it's very hard to feel, oh, my hands were a little bit open. You know, because these are fast twitch muscles compared to slow twitch muscles, your big muscles. Okay? So, give me one sec. Alright, so if I was gripping the club, my club's too long. Even if I'm choking up this much, right? So if that face is square, right, that's going to be where my grip is, right? Where I am at address. Let's see if I can get it on the camera. There you go. So you see the triangle, my arms and my shoulders? My hands are always going to stay ahead. So if I turn to my right, see how that club face is technically open to the target? Here, let me put my headset back on. So, see how I'm not moving my hands, I'm not rotating, right? I'm doing no kind of open or closed or anything like that. I'm just holding it straight with my grip, right? Straight ahead of me. If I rotate my body, see how that face is now opened by itself to the target? Do you see what I mean by that?
Yeah, not really.
So, you see how right here it's square? Do you see how that toe is opening relative to the target, right? I'm aiming way right, technically, right? If I bounce the ball off, it's aiming way over there. Do you see what I mean by that?
I guess it's kind of just hard for me to see from, like, understand from the side.
It's okay. I'm trying to show you here.
Yeah, I know.
But do you see how it's squaring up in front of my chest right here?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, and then when I'm aiming this way, do you see how it's opening to the target?
Yes.
And now it's coming in and it's closing, right? And then if I go this way, if I keep continuing, now you see the back of the club, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that club face is going to go wherever your body goes, not where your hands go. Your hands add an extra factor to it, which is bad. So that's a variable that's going to develop inconsistency, and it's not adding anything. So if I'm not rotating my body and I just take, you see how my chest is still facing forward? And I just open up the face, now I got to flip it back at impact to square it up. It's very hard to get that timing, right? I could be anywhere. It's all in my hands. But if I rotate my body correctly, you see how my shoulders turn? The club face does it by itself. I don't have to do anything with my hands, right? I don't have to manipulate anything. It goes where your body goes. So if I'm doing this and rotating back and forth, the club face is opening and closing by itself naturally. That's a big misconception for a lot of beginners in golf. They see golfers on the TV saying, "Oh yeah, that face is wide open. Why is it?" And then he's flipping at an impact and then coming through. No, their shoulders are what's changing where that club face is going. Their body rotation is what's changing it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you want to keep those hands in a very stable position. Nice straight arms. You've got that triangle, right? And you want to keep those forearms pretty close together. The right arm will collapse naturally here, but you're keeping your hands and your wrists in the same position relative to your chest, right? I'm not adding more. I'm not rotating at all. I'm keeping it very strong here. And rotating as if I was on this angle, and then I'm pulling down through impact, and then I keep rotating my right shoulder through to where at impact, I've squared that face up. Now, if that face is open, right, look how rotating my shoulders can open that face up. Can you see that?
Yeah.
See how that face is to the sky now?
Yep.
I'm in a baseball position, am I not?
Yes.
There's Jacob, right? Bad Jacob coming back. But see, you're going to correct by doing this. See how I rotated my hands? I didn't rotate my shoulders at all. But all you have to do is get that spine angle back. See how I kicked my hips back right there? See that face? Look how the face is going to react to this. I'm kicking my hips back and rotating my shoulder through. And now that has squared the face up. You see how my hands have stayed in the same position?
Yeah.
It's the big muscles. So if my right shoulder goes over the top or something weird, you see that? My hands are going to rotate with it, and it's going to close it up. Obviously, that's not a golf swing, but that's how the body works. And if I open my shoulders this way, now the face is to the sky. Right?
Yeah.
See how that works? So if I just have the arms in the same position, nice and square, there we go on the camera. My shoulders determine where that club face is going. Not the hands. We're not using hands. Hands are cheating. Hands are bad. Whenever I'm teaching, I always tell students, no hands. So the only purpose of hands is to hold the club. So when you're getting blisters, that's coming from that thumb right here trying to manipulate that club back to square. Because you know I'm leaving it open. And that's because you're not rotating your shoulders. Or you could just keep those hands nice and strong, rotate the shoulders, and learn how to square that face up using those big muscles. That's going to make you more consistent and stronger.
So then...
Go ahead.
So with the... We'll go back to the bad posture, right?
Okay, yep.
So the bad posture will make me have a much steeper swing arc.
On the downswing arc.
Yeah.
Remember the second swing arc?
That's what I was talking about, the downswing arc.
Yes. So the upright swing it's causing a domino effect of bad moves to compensate for it. So if you're set up bad right from the start, you're doomed. That's why the pros can say, this guy's gonna fucking slice the fuck out of the ball right now. Right just by seeing your practice swing, just by seeing you set up to the ball. Because we know you're blocking yourself from being able to move correctly. So that means your body's going to have to naturally compensate. And you being an athlete, it's going to try to figure itself out because you know where the club face has to be to get the ball to go that way. You know what I mean? If you're thinking basic. But to swing properly, you want to try to get as many things quiet as possible, as little moving parts, less variables, easier to assess, easier to fix on the next swing. The less moving parts, the better. So if you set yourself up bad with your posture, like you're just saying, that's going to make you drop the club inside. Naturally, you have to. You're not doing anything wrong. Your posture is making you have to do that stuff. Otherwise, you would swing 3 feet above the ball.
I just sent you a video of it.
Sure.
My backswing looks a little funky because I almost hit my desk, but I'm sure you'll get the gist.
And this is going to make you very sore, by the way, if you're practicing correctly.
I figured as soon as I started doing those stretches.
Right there, I just watched the top of your backswing there. So that is still not good enough. So here, do a drill real quick.
No, that was before I even tried anything. That was my natural swing.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, that makes sense. But yes, that's not good. It's too tall. And especially the more you take that backswing, because you don't have that golf flexibility, the taller you're going to get. And the longer you play, the more throughout the round, the taller you're going to stand because that fatigue is going to set in. You know, you may not feel tired, but certain muscles are tired. And other muscles are going to step in and overcompensate for those tired muscles. You know, it's just natural. You know, to get into golf fitness, you need every part of your body working at 100% the whole time. Or you got to know which ones are going to start getting tired the fastest so that you can plan for it and you can feel it coming on. That's what separates the guy who's shooting 80 from me. There's a very fine line from even somebody shooting 75 and me shooting 70. There's a huge difference in skill level and body knowledge and physics knowledge, but mostly self-knowledge. That's something I can't teach you. You got to learn that on your own. I can try to help expose it to you and help you understand it, but only you can feel it. And everybody's different. Everybody's going to have a weak spot. Like my weak spot is my grip. The further I get in the round, the stronger my grip wants to get. The more tired I get, the more my hands start hurting, the stronger my right hand starts getting, and my left hand starts getting here. And what that's going to do, it's inhibiting my rotation because my left hand getting over is bringing my left shoulder forward, which doesn't allow my right shoulder to get through the swing as easy because my left shoulder is blocking it. So the stronger I get, the more shots are going to start out to the right because I'm not rotating my body down the target line as well anymore because my grip has blocked me. That's how one thing creates such a domino effect. Something as easy as this will change my entire swing. And I know I get into that habit, and I can feel myself at setup, just gripping the club, and I can feel it being more comfortable to get into a stronger position, and I have to physically force myself to step off which is another one of the hardest things in golf. If I feel that oncoming, just knowing myself, I'm able to step off and then reset, wiggle out my muscles. You know, the ones that are getting fatigued, the ones that are subconsciously trying to make themselves more comfortable and more efficient. I need to step in there and say, F you, hand. Relax back. Relax my shoulders, the ones that are trying to block my other shoulders. Get in there and get my hand back into a proper position. Back into a proper position for me. Sorry. Not everybody's grip is different. I'm just saying in relation to my normal grip that's comfortable for me, it starts getting stronger throughout the round. Everybody's different though, and we can get into those that comes with fundamental stuff. But what you were gonna have a question?
Yeah, but you already answered it.
Okay.
I was gonna ask if you felt yourself getting tighter and you saw your shot starting to go right, if you're gonna start playing a draw.
No. I try to make it so that I don't allow myself to do it, because that's going to create bad habits. So all that work that you put in can easily disappear by doing something like that. You're allowing your fatigue to change your fundamentals, and that's going to develop bad habits. You know what you got to do, right? You're going into that shot with a mission. Whether it's right or wrong, success is not where the ball goes. It's if you accomplished what you set out to accomplish. And me teaching you is to make it so that your missions that you set for yourself are correct. 99% of people out there, that, especially the ones that don't take lessons, go out there and say, oh, I want to try this. Like the other day when you were like, oh, I saw this thing and this guy stepped away from the ball and it gives me a lot more room at impact, and I was at the golf warehouse and it was working and I hit some great balls. If you noticed, I did not say anything. I said, oh, okay, cool. Did you notice how that was my response?
Yeah, and I tried it today and it didn't work.
Exactly. But I didn't want to fuck with you because there's a lot more to it. And you just doing it but not understanding it, I was going to allow you to fail until I could really explain it to you. But there's no such thing as one fix. And there's definitely no such thing as a fix for everybody. Everybody's different. It all depends. Like, I'm teaching you stuff right now that applies to everybody, but everybody's going to apply it differently, right? These are just physics, anatomy, but it's going to work differently for everybody. So this is stuff you need to know, and you need to be able to analyze, and you need to be able to change, and this is going to be part of the cause and effects of different types of shots that you're going to try to analyze and fix for the next shot, right? Say you go out there and hit a push slice driver. How are you going to fix it in one swing? You have to. You have one swing to fix it, or you're just going to fuck it up again and again and again. The longer it takes you to make that adjustment, the more shots you're wasting in that game, right? So that turns your 86 into a 90, just because it took you 4 shots to compensate for that mistake on the driver. But you might have just got lucky and just made a lucky contact shot and everything kind of came together perfectly. But if you understand the swing more, you'll be able to make more intellectual adjustments, more knowledge, a more knowledgeable adjustment. Even if you can't make it, you might be able to feel yourself like, nope, I didn't do what I wanted to do. That's a fail. Or maybe you said, yep, I did what I wanted to do, but it didn't work. That's a success because you still did what you were trying to do. Maybe it was you were trying to do the wrong thing, but at least You did what you were trying to do. Let's make an adjustment for the next one. Let's think about it. I tried to do this. It didn't work. Maybe that wasn't the problem that I needed to fix. What is causing... And you always start at the bottom. Start with the club. What's making the club do what it's doing to affect the ball the way that it's affecting it? The ball's not doing anything. You don't have to think about the ball. The ball's just sitting there. Right? So you always start and work your way back. The club. Why did the ball go right and then fade? It was an inside-out path with an open face. Why? Right? Why was it an inside-out path? Okay? Well, if I adjust my spine angle, maybe, this is where the path is coming. Take a couple practice swings. Why did it come from that angle? Where do I want it to come from? I want it to come from more this angle. And then I need to finish over my left shoulder a little bit better at the end. How do I get there? Because I actually did feel myself finish over here on that swing. If I drew a whole line of that club head path, that did come up nice, but I did drop it inside, and then I finished with really high hands and over my head like this. When I should have finished with my hands way over my left shoulder here and around the back of my head here. Right? So let's take a couple practice swings on me just finishing the swing. How do I get into a proper position on the left side instead of finishing way over on the right side and over my head there? Obviously, I'm not even rotating my hips to be facing to the right. But if I finish over on my left side, I get my shoulders all the way through. I get my hips pointing to the target. I get my weight transferred all the way onto my left heel. There's so many different things. But the golf is a complete motion. You can fix something in your swing by thinking about where your hands are in the finish. Because your hands have to get there somehow. Right? You're not going to get here, drop it inside, and then finish perfectly. The only way you'll be able to do that is by swinging 5 feet above the ball to get it hurt. You know what I mean? But you can't possibly come here inside out and then finish correctly. It's just not going to work. There's no way. That swing is coming 100 miles an hour. It's going to naturally go way out to the right, and then you're going to have a big swooping arc down to your back over there. Every action has a reaction. Every cause, effect, action, reaction. Everything happens for a reason and why. That's golf. It's the theory of it. So, I think the best thing you can do is work on your spine angle for swing path. Work on the path of the club. Because right now, you're swinging way too far inside out. You got a couple more minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, so
probably about 10.
Okay, so let's start with the fundamental, the grip. Okay, I'm gonna try to get you through grip and setup real quick, so at least you can set yourself up for success. So everybody's different. So for a grip, you're gonna stand comfortably, straight up, and just let your arms hang down. Okay. Your hands. Everybody's hands will sit in a different position. Okay? Some people have straight hands like that. Some people are supinated and they are like this. Some people are pronated, like me. My hands are a little bit cupped over like that. Everybody's different. Here, I'm blocking one of my hands here. Come on, chair. Get the fuck out of here.
My hands are... whatever it means when the back of my hand is facing forward.
Okay, so you have the back of your hand, so you're more pronated. That's pretty common for people that have big upper back muscles. Okay, so that means your shoulders are going to be rolled a little bit more forward, right? And you have strong upper body. For people that have a lot of pitted chest, they're going to be like this. Like almost back of the hands completely facing forward, right? People that have pitted chest and have kind of a hunchback, right? That's pretty common with like fat people. Fat people that have big bellies that kind of hang forward, they're supporting it by arching their back like that, and they have that sucked in buttocks, right? And they have a rolled shoulders and a pitted chest. So their hands are going to be fucking like monkeys, right? So, but everybody's different. A lot of girls, they have boobs, right? So they're sitting there like this, with their hands kind of facing forward. You know, people that have kind of like scapular issues, that have like really pinched scapulars, and they have shoulders and maybe heads that are forward. You know, some people have heads that are forward and their chest is kind of out a little bit. They're going to sit like this, and their hands are going to be more supinated to where it's like, oh, what's going on, you know? But that's more of a natural position for them, and that's going to be where their hinge is, right? So everybody's different. So to get your grip, you have a club still with you?
Yeah.
Grab a club and put it in your left hand, like you're facing the target, like you're setting it up to hit a ball. Okay? And just hold it in your left hand. Just standing straight up and down.
Okay.
Okay? Now, tap the bottom of that club on the ground really quickly. Just with your left hand.
Okay.
Get it in a really controlled rhythm to where you can tap it on the ground as fast as you can.
I don't want to wake my kid up.
That's okay. You're not doing it hard. Just tapping it. You're going through the movements. What you're creating is an equal amount of pressure up and down. If you had your hand on top like baseball, you're going to have trouble with pushing it down, because you're going to be using your arm to push it down because your hand's not on top, right? It's going to be very easy to pull up because you have your hands underneath it. Very easy to pull that club upwards, but not very easy to push it downwards. You're going to have to use your whole arm to do it. You just want to use your hands like a hinge, like a hammer, right? Like you're tapping a nail as fast as you can. How are you going to do that? You see that hand? You see the position that it's in to be able to do that?
Yeah.
That's a good left hand. Okay? So that's your comfortable position right there.